There is a kind of retirement mistake that looks responsible from the outside. You work one more year, then another. The portfolio grows, the account looks safer, and everyone calls it discipline. But if the money was already close to working, that extra year may not be free. It may be charging you in the one currency retirement can never refund usable time. That is the part most careful savers do not price correctly. They can measure account balances, tax brackets, Social Security estimates, healthcare premiums, and withdrawal rates. But they rarely price the year when travel still feels easy, the body still cooperates, marriage still has energy in it, and freedom is still usable. That hidden cost is what I call the one more year tax. The one more year tax is not paid only in dollars. It can be paid in health, mobility, marriage, energy, freedom, and usable retirement years. So before you give work another year, the better question is not only whether you can afford to retire. It is what that extra year is actually buying and what it is taking. To be clear, one more year is not automatically wrong. It might bridge health insurance before Medicare payoff, debt, protect a spouse, strengthen a cash reserve, help with tax planning, or give you time to build a clearer life after work. But an automatic extra year is different. The one more year tax is what you pay when an extra year of work buys a little more financial comfort, but costs a year of health, energy, marriage, movement, or freedom that may never return. If the year has a job, make it prove that job. If it is only there because uncertainty feels uncomfortable, then you may not be buying security. You may be buying temporary anxiety relief at a very high price. That is where the retirement conversation has to move beyond account balance, because some of the strongest retirement assumptions are not financial at all. They are age anchors. 65 and 67 are important numbers, but they are not magic numbers. They feel official because the retirement system gives them weight. For many Americans, 65 matters because Medicare often begins there. 67 can matter because it is full Social Security retirement age for many people. But 65 and 67 are benefit checkpoints, not life instructions. They do not know whether your knees still love hiking, whether your spouse is healthy enough to travel, whether your taxes need careful sequencing, or whether the life you postponed is still physically available. They tell you when certain benefits become available. They do not tell you when your best retirement years begin. Once you see that one more year stops sounding automatically responsible and starts needing evidence, are you waiting because the plan truly requires it, or because the culture trained you to believe leaving before 65 or 67 is premature? That is where the extra year starts to become expensive, because it may be solving the wrong problem. Some people keep working because the portfolio genuinely needs more time. If the numbers are thin, debt is heavy, healthcare coverage is unclear, or a spouse would be exposed. The extra year can have a clear purpose, but many successful savers keep working because uncertainty feels unbearable. They may have enough to begin serious retirement planning, sometimes enough to retire, but the final decision still feels emotionally unsafe. So they add another year, not because the plan needs it, but because fear wants one more layer of padding. There is a difference between security and anxiety relief. Security is measurable. It says, this year buys $400 more per month, pays off this debt, fills this reserve, or gets us to this coverage date. Anxiety relief is vaguer. It says, I will feel better after one more year, even though the feeling often moves the finish line again. A year can add dollars to the account while adding very little usable life to the plan. But the cost is not always visible in the portfolio. The next cost shows up in the body, not the account. Your healthy retirement is shorter than your retirement. On paper, retirement can look like a 25-year or 30-year chapter. That sounds generous, but life does not distribute energy evenly across those years. The travel years, walking years, driving years, spouse years, grandchild years, and adventure years are not guaranteed just because the spreadsheet extends to age 95. There is a major difference between having money for a trip and having the stamina to enjoy it. Retirement is not simply time away from work. The best version of it requires usable health. This is why delaying from 60 to 65 or from 62 to 67 is not always a simple exchange of 5 equal years. Sometimes you are giving up the most flexible, mobile, energetic years of retirement. In order to make a strong plan slightly stronger, one more year may be the year your portfolio did not need, but your body never gets back. This is where the math and the calendar stop agreeing. Market risk matters. Sequence risk matters. Inflation matters. But retirement also has time risk, health risk, spouse risk, and regret risk. And those risks do not always show up neatly in a financial projection. Many careful savers are trained to fear a portfolio decline. They imagine the account dropping 10% and feel an immediate need to defend against it. But they rarely measure the risk of losing one of their most active years. They worry about withdrawing too early, but not using the money too late. This is the retirement version of optimizing for the wrong risk. You may protect the account beautifully and still underprotect the life the account was supposed to fund. And healthcare is where that risk becomes more than a theory. Healthcare can become one of the largest recurring expenses in retirement. And many retirement healthcare estimates show that retirees should expect significant healthcare costs over time. The exact number depends on coverage, location premiums, health prescriptions, and care needs. But the direction is clear enough to matter. As you age, more of the retirement budget can shift from lifestyle to maintenance. That changes the value of money. Money at 63 and money at 78 do not always have the same experiential power. At one age, money might buy travel, family time, mobility choices, and the freedom to say yes quickly. At another age, it may mostly buy comfort, support, and medical management. The same dollar can buy freedom in one decade and only maintenance in another. That is why waiting until every number feels perfect can backfire. The money may arrive larger, but the window where it buys the life you pictured may be smaller. And this is why one more year is not automatically wise or foolish. It depends on what the year is buying. There are times when the one more year tax is worth paying. If one more year gets you to Medicare and avoids a dangerous insurance gap, eliminates high-interest debt, secures pension vesting, improves survivor benefits for a spouse, sharpens a Social Security strategy, builds a cash reserve, or creates a better tax runway. The year has a purpose. One more year can also be useful if you are not emotionally or practically ready for life after work. Retirement without purpose can feel empty, even with money. A year spent building routines, relationships, volunteer work, consulting options, or a healthier identity outside the job may be valuable. But the year has to name what it is doing. One more year is useful when it buys a defined protection. It becomes expensive when it only postpones a decision. Before you decide, make the year prove what it is buying. Use the one more year test. First, what does this year actually buy in monthly retirement income? Not vaguely, but in a number you can understand. If the answer is only a few $100s a month, that may still matter, but it should be compared honestly against the time being traded. Second, which healthy year are you trading for it? A year at 61 is not the same as a year at 81. Third, is this year adding security or only reducing anxiety for a little while? Fourth, what happens if your health, spouse, or job changes before the year is over? And fifth, if your portfolio keeps growing, will you actually use the money? If every increase only moves the finish line farther away, the issue may not be financial readiness anymore. It may be permission, because every extra year gives you something, but it also hands you a receipt. It may give you more savings, more confidence, more protection, and a little more margin. Those are real benefits, but the receipt may also include less time, less energy, fewer active years, another season of marriage lived around work, another year of trips postponed, another year of mornings and meetings traded for a number on a screen. That does not mean you should retire recklessly. It means the extra year deserves an audit. Before you give work one more year, ask what that year is buying. Then ask what it is taking. And if one part of the one more year test made you uncomfortable, that is probably the number to examine first.